You guys have been giving me crap about my 350Z not being a true muscle car and me making it too nice. And frankly, I think most of the stuff that I've done to it have been within reason until this. So, for whatever reason, I just really wanted to be a little bit extra hot boy, and I got an APR splitter for it that I'm actually gonna be fixing to this bash bar today, kind of in between other stuff that we'll be doing. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things that's either gonna last forever and never get destroyed, or like the first event out, it's just gonna get completely obliterated. But what I'm planning on doing is just kind of bolting it to the bash bar, actually using some screws just so I don't have ugly looking bolts going through the top. Do that, mount it to the chassis a little bit. To make it easier, I think I am going to unbolt the bash bar and do it off the car. And I'm also definitely going to have to trim some of the splitter so the wheel doesn't hit it when it turns at lock. But zero function to this mod, it is all form, but it's gonna look so cool. The way that I wanna mount it and make sure everything's kind of centered is kind of tricky. Basically what I did was kind of lay it out on the ground, and I measured all the different points, like here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. Tried to get it as centered as possible, but because I'm drilling from the bottom, there's no way that I can just like tack weld it real quick to make sure it stays in place centered. I suppose I could try to like duck, well no, I can't even do that because I have to like be pulling it off and putting it on because I'm using different size drill bits because the drill, you'll understand more. But anyway, so what I did, I tried to put one piece of tape here and one piece of tape here so I could split the difference, drill a hole in the center of the splitter, follow this line, drill a hole in the center of the bash bar, and then once I have one screw in there, I can kind of have it loose enough where I can pivot the splitter around and I can get it centered in relation to the other mounting points, and then it should be straight. And then what I'll probably do lastly is flip it upside down and take a circular saw and just trim off maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inches off the back edge so it doesn't get caught on the wheel. The way that I drilled these holes, I truly don't think that the splitter is going anywhere. Very stable just with these couple points on the actual bash bar, and then I'll probably have 1, 2, maybe 3 chassis points in the back section. It did come with splitter rods, which are kind of cool, but again, I don't want to drill holes in my pretty bash bar. So this is pretty much how it's looking right now. I guess all I really have left to do is trim this back edge, probably with a circular saw, probably cut off about 1 inch. And then I can go fix it to the car. So today's main purpose isn't just toying with missile car mods that are gonna get destroyed on the very first lap out. I am being joined by the one, the only, Big Boost.
My hair is all messed up. What's up, guys?
He's gonna help me today. We're gonna be banging a tranny tunnel. We're gonna have to bang the crap out of it to fit that CD09, which you guys actually told me, and I didn't even realize this, it's actually a CD00A. I guess that's like the new version of the CD009, so it's supposedly better. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. We don't really know much about these transmissions other than they're dope and sick and make you drift good. So basically the process for this, Alberto removed the head yesterday and started cleaning through things. Obviously we're gonna have to do new head gasket, which isn't going to be in for a couple days. So for now, what we're gonna do is mount the Collins adapter plate, mount the CD09, and then start bashing the tranny tunnel so we can get an idea of what we'll need to do in terms of clearance, and hopefully get some measurements for the drive shaft length so I can get one of those in the process of being made so this doesn't turn into a month-long thing.
Alright, so we gotta get that transmission adapter installed. Let's see how it looks.
Dude, it's gonna be sick. What do we have here? Okay, so this is the flywheel. I don't know if I've told you guys this or not yet, but we are actually going to be the test dummy for a brand new Collins kit that uses a modified flywheel so we can run a 350Z clutch and not have to modify the bell housing. The biggest advantage to this is that the 350Z clutch has a much larger surface area, so in regards to pedal feel, we will get a much more aggressive clutch bite with a much softer pedal feel if we compared it to an SR clutch. And it's a lot easier because we can just bolt up the CD transmission and we don't have to go and cut the bell housing, which can be a pain. Alberto, have you done that before?
What?
Cut up a CD09?
No.
Oh, really?
I never have to.
But it's a pain, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't even think we could do it. I think we have to have like a machine shop do it, am I right?
No, you can do with a car stuff.
Oh.
Cutting this with a grinder.
Got it. Okay, so that's the adapter plate right there, right?
Yes.
Dang, dude, look at this flywheel. I love billet stuff. Comes with the bolts that we need. Let me see that adapter plate. Dang.
All right, guys, one very important thing to do with these kits, for alignment purposes, when you're gonna put on the bolts, put all the bolts in hand tight, and then put them snug, then proceed to actually tighten the bolts. Do not tighten the bolts if you don't have all the other bolts in first, because this will probably cause you to get a misalignment issue, and you can cross thread one of the bolts, and then you're gonna have a bad day. So
it's not like when you're just putting an SR trans on an SR where you can kind of use the bolts to pull everything together. You don't want to do that with these adapter plates. It's just not very smart, and we're going even above and beyond by doing it outside of the car, so that way we can clearly see everything that's going on, make sure it mates up nicely, rather than trying to do it with low clearance in the transmission tunnel and making our life a little bit more difficult.
right here.
Do you hear the ocean?
Nope. All I hear is a squeaky floor.
I put them side by side so you guys can get a better idea of what we're talking about needing to bang that tranny tunnel out. Because if you look, the upper part of the bell housing on the CDO9 is much, much larger, probably to accommodate for that larger clutch. So as a result of that, also a little bit thicker too. She's got a little bit more, you know, bigness. And obviously the main difference is that the shifter is located much farther back, so that's why we were going to be using the Collins shifter to relocate it a little bit more forward so it lines up with the shifter point in the S chassis. That's a satisfying shift noise. Because we're still going to be needing to put the motor back on the engine stand, we're not going to put the clutch on right now. We're just going to kind of mock everything up just to get an idea of clearance. It's just easier to do the head gasket when it's on the motor stand versus like on the ground or whatever.
Alright guys, you will need adapter plate, rubber mallet. Also, I already took the dowel pins off from the transmission and put both of them on the engine. The adapter plate will have holes to receive that, that way it aligns it properly in place. So we're gonna just put them on the pins and then tap it.
Probably because of the paint on the adapter plate, we were having a hard time getting the dowel pins in, so we're just gonna very, very lightly clearance it with a drill bit just to make sure we get a nice engagement with the dowel pin. We also did notice that we probably don't have a sufficient amount of heat resistant wrap around these water lines. So when we do reassemble the engine, I think we are gonna either coat or wrap the manifold as well as redo the water lines and put some of the like DEI heat resistant crazy gnarly stuff on it, just to make sure we don't potentially have what could either cause a blown up engine, water leak, whatever you wanna call it. I wonder if this has something to do with my bubbles.
Guys, another thing that Brett told me that we have to do on this kit is that these are the starter bolts, which normally bolt from the transmission towards the starter. They're no longer gonna be like that, so this kit requires you to install 2 studs on the plate, and then you need to drill out the threads on the starter, and you're gonna use a nut on the other side. So
what's the purpose of that?
Because the starter is bolts, and now it's gonna use studs coming from the adapter plate to put the starter on with that kit.
Curious to see what my old clutch looks like. I don't get it though. I didn't have the clutch for that long. Why is it so worn?
Look at the whole ceramic just like falling off.
Why?
The backside is not too bad, so the flywheel side wasn't too bad. But the pressure plate side was definitely like slipping.
How did I wear through the clutch so fast? Because I don't think I've had it more than a year.
You abused it probably?
I didn't feel like I did. I felt like I was pretty gentle.
It's like, how did it like take all this material and just shoved it to the side over the rivet?
Yeah, that's weird. Unfortunately, we're just gonna have to leave the SR kind of where it is and not be able to do what we wanted to do on the car. We just want to confirm something with Collins, and right now we're not able to get a hold of him because he's in a meeting. So for now, we are just going to resume this tomorrow morning. I might actually, though, do a couple other little things now that I have a little bit of extra time I didn't plan on. Our last little project for the night is actually going to be designing a splitter for my 240, something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to make them out of ABS plastic, mainly to protect my body kit. A lot of times it'll hit the splitter instead of cracking the bumper. It'll just kind of get whatever deflected by the splitter. So using the cardboard that I had from the splitter that I got for the 350Z, I finally have a perfect shape. So I'm gonna kind of show you guys how I stencil out a splitter and then kind of take it from there to a form where I can go and get it made out of ABS plastic, not just anti-lock brakes. I'm gonna try to be intelligent about this to get the perfect, like, equidistant line. What's kind of funny is I think Origin actually makes splitters for their kits. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is kind of drill a hole in a little piece of wood right about where I want the Sharpie to be. And then I will just kind of insert the Sharpie in there and we should be perfect. Ow. So the idea is, now I can take this piece of wood, run it along the bumper, and hopefully get a nice, clean, equidistant edge all along. Oh, I just moved the bumper. I figure probably the best bet is to make it too big at first, so I just made it go all the way to the edge. I think it's about 1.5 inches. Honestly, I kind of like the length. I just might dial it back just a hair so it kind of carries out to this corner. Now we have a beautiful splitter template. All we have to do is cut. Sprayed some black paint on it real quick to give us a better idea of what it looks like. As you can imagine, I'm going to want to do the same thing with the side skirts and the rear bumper. Definitely not going to get to that tonight, nor do I have enough cardboard, but this will be kind of like the first little trial and error of this procedure. So there we have it. Something that I've been wanting to do to my car since I raised the front end so I would stop rubbing on all my fenders. Mind you, the car is actually a bit higher than it normally is right now since there's no engine in it. The car obviously doesn't settle as much when there's not all that weight in it. But anyway, I am kind of curious what you guys think since this isn't the final video before I go send these off to get made. I'm kind of debating on maybe making them a little bit less wide. I don't know. I know a lot of people sometimes will do it way more aggressive than this. This is maybe like, I want to say 1.5 inches. A friend of mine who goes by the name of Eric Loomis did a very similar thing and kind of gave me the idea to do it for my kit. I think his are 2 inches, but I don't know, because my car's not like super aggressive and doesn't have like a crazy wide BN kit. That might look a little funny. So if you can get an accurate enough idea from looking at this, let me know what you think. Too wide, not wide enough. I don't know, I kind of like it. I might just leave it. But the idea is I'll probably try to match the same exact stick outness for the side skirts and the rear bumper, and it should flow together really nicely. I'm gonna go show Nicole, see what she thinks, and I guess I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll figure some more stuff out with the CDO9. I really want to get it mocked up in the car and start banging out that training tunnel. It's good. I'm just really looking forward to banging out that training tunnel. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.